let me pull up Illustrator here. So in this assignment, like I said, it's pretty much learning how to trace and use different tools, your pen tool, your pencil tool, and your curvature tool. Before I do that, let me pull up another screen here, and I'm going to show you what each tool does. We're just going to do this on a regular artboard. This part is not part of your assignment. I just want to show you exactly what each tool does. So I will start with your pencil tool, okay? So your pencil tool is located here. Sometimes it might be under where the shaper tool is. So if you see like the shaper tool, right click on it and then choose the pencil tool, okay? It's best when you are using your pencil and your pen tool to turn off your fill and just focus on your stroke, because you can always go back and fill in an object, similar to what we did when I showed you how to trace the cat, then go back in and fill in the colors. Same thing with this pen and pencil tool, okay? So with the pencil tool, you're drawing lines, okay? But here's a trick I want you to know about the pencil tool. If you use the shift key, you can draw straight lines by just simply holding down the shift key, okay? And if you hold down the shift key to sort of, makes the angle in 45-degree increments. Another way you can draw lines with the pencil tool is by holding down your Alt key, which is on the PC. I believe on the Mac you have the Option key. With the Option key, I can make this at any angle I want. So it doesn't have to be that straight 45-degree angle. This is going to be important when you're actually doing your assignment for week 2, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Another thing that I want to go over quickly, and you can find out more about this in the pre-recorded lecture, is the pen tool. So if I go here and select the pen tool, and again, I don't have a fill, I just have a stroke, you see I have lines that are sort of here that I can do. And pen tool normally works if you're trying to, draw things, trace things. If you, hold down different keys. Let me go back here. Just sort of, start curves from there. Let me start here. If I hold down I think it's the shift and the Alt key, you can sort of go in and change the path as well. Change the handles. The anchor point, you could change the handles here as well, to sort of create that line that you want. Now, one thing about the pen tool and the curvature tool is that when you're done drawing, like if you're done at this line, if you press escape, it'll stop the drawing. Otherwise, it'll keep going. That's going to be really important for you to learn when you're doing your second page where you have to use the pen tool. We'll show you how to make curves and, end curve points and change the handles as well with that assignment. Let's talk about your curvature tool, which is right by your text tool or your type tool, and it's right here. So your curvature tool is sort of like connected in dots. That's what I call it. It sort of predicts where you want to go, and you can sort of direct it. I like it because if I'm trying to trace something like I used in week 1, I can use it to do that. If you close out a shape, you'll see like the circle that I just did earlier that closes it out. But if I didn't draw a shape that's closed out and I just want to end it, again, I press the escape key, okay? One more thing I did want to talk about is the shape builder tool. It is similar to the Pathfinder tool that I use a lot, but it's a new tool here. You can learn about it more in the pre-recorded lecture. So if I were to draw shapes here, I'll draw a couple. All right, and I were to select all of these shapes. You can do Control-A to select all. And I were to go to my shape builder tool. If I want to combine these shapes, I simply just drag the shapes I want to combine with each other, okay? So now it creates like these new paths, so the shapes are combined, okay? So it does work like the Pathfinder tool, it's just a lot easier. Again, you can learn more about this in the pre-recorded session and in your course media, but I want to give you a brief preview of what you're going to be expecting from that video. Now I'm going to go into the first part of your week 2 assignment. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to do this, and we'll go on to the second one, which is the pen tool. So for this first artboard here, it says use the pencil tool, to draw the following shapes. It says do not make adjustments, just draw them as best as you can. So what you have here, if you go to your layers panel, you have your drawings and your template where it says place your drawings here. I recommend that you make sure you're on that layer when you're selecting it, especially for these two artboards here, okay? I'm going to go to my pencil tool. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to start at point 1. Now, before I go into this, what I expect to see on this first artboard is progression. Like on this first one, you're probably going to be just getting used to the pen tool, so some of the lines may not be exact. And then as the second one goes on, the second line here, which is the same thing, I should see some progression as you're learning to use the pencil tool, and that's what I'm checking. I need for you to trace all 3 lines. I don't have time to do it in this live session, but just because I'm doing 1 line does not mean you do 1 line. You need to complete everything. But I am going to show you how to start it off, okay? So for this one, I am going to hold down my shift key, zoom in a little bit more here. And really for this artboard, it's the combination between your shift key or your option key. If you're on the PC, it's your shift key and your alt key. So for my straight lines, I'm just going to simply use my shift key, okay? And remember, no fill, make sure you have your stroke, okay? I'm just going to draw straight lines here. And just let go of your mouse when you're okay with the line. That's going to be key too, okay? So I'm holding down my shift key while I'm drawing these straight lines. And I know for most of you who have your computer, you're using your mouse pad, so draw it a little bit slower because I'm actually using the plugged-in mouse. Now for this one, I'm going to hold down the option key and draw it so I can get the line exactly where I want it. I'm holding down the option key now to get it where I want it. When I'm happy, then I let go of my mouse key. And for this one, you can hold down the shift key. I'm holding down the option key right now, but you can hold down the shift key here too. You see where the circle is? That means you completed the shape. So if I go to my selection tool and just click off of it, you see I have this shape here. And it looks pretty clean, you know, for it. So I'm, like I said, I'm not looking for the exact perfect line, but I'm looking for the shape to be dead on from there. And it should be progression. I know, like I said, you're just learning to use these tools for the first time, the pencil and the pen tool. So as you go to the second line, I should see some progression as you start to trace. Let's talk about this man here. He looks a little difficult. What I recommend first is that you try to do the circle as close as you can. But what I like about the pencil tool is that it will clean it up for you. A little bit, hold on, zoom in. So it cleans it up for you. So if you want to hold down your shift key, if you want to hold down your alt key, you can do that. I'm looking to, yeah, that's the circle I was looking for. It sort of cleans it up for you, so it's not the raggedy line that you see when you sort of freehand it. For the ears, I would probably hold down the alt key and sort of get my line where I want it, you know. And again, don't let go of your mouse key until you get your lines where you want it. That's going to be key with the drawing of the man here. So I'm going to start over here. And I'm using the Alt key for Mac users. Remember, it's the Option key, okay? And I like the Option or Alt key because, again, it allows me to sort of get the line exactly where I want it without worrying about the line being too straight when I do it. Yeah. And the option key, to me, comes handy on this particular shape because you have a lot of angles that you have to complete for the man's hair, his nose, his mouth. Really all of his body parts are at some type of angle. So if you use your option key, which by the way, I'm holding it down and I haven't let it go since I started drawing this man. So when I draw the next segment, it's already selected. And like I said before, you only let go of your mouse key or come off of it when you're okay with that line you draw. So if I'm not okay with it, I can shrink it back down and go back up. But once I let go, it shows here. Okay. And I'm going to have to scoot the screen over. So give me a moment. Scoot it over here. Now I start right back where I was. And again, for the Mac users, I know there's a lot of you here in the course. Only a few people may be doing web design that may have a PC. I will post this, how to do it on the Mac on Wednesday. It's the exact same thing. And when I say the exact same thing, you're just holding down the option key, okay? So you don't have to wait for the PC video to be posted. You can start on this, now with the Mac version of it. You can start with the PC version here. Same tools. Just make sure to hold down your option key while you do this, and don't let go of your mouse key until you're happy with what the line is. That's going to be key with this drawing. Uh-oh. So I split my mouse. My mouse almost fell off the pad here. And holding down the Alt or Option key for my Mac users is the Option key. Makes doing this particular drawing a lot easier because you're not having to guess where it should go. You control where that line starts and stops. Okay. Just keep it held down until you're done with your drawing. I'm going to stop for a minute, shake my hands, and get back on it. Okay. All right, almost done here. And for me, I like to do the outline for some reason with him. And another thing I'll show you when I'm done, if you want to change the size of your stroke, you can. I kept my stroke at 1. If you want to make your stroke bigger, you can definitely do that. It's up to you. You don't have to keep it at 1. Okay. Yeah, I messed up on his little finger here because there's a line that's supposed to go here. And then we go up. Go up here. Up one more. And then I'm going to close the shape out here. And you can close it out. You're going to close it out when you see that little circle here. So if I zoom out and sort of check on it by going to the direct selection tool, just clicking off of it, it's a pretty close drawing. I'll probably get closer towards the lines than the other one, okay? Same thing with the fish. I'll just do the fish, and I'll do the squiggly line, and we'll get started just on the top part of the pen tool. So again, pencil tool. And when I say you can change the size of your stroke, you can click on the pencil tool, make sure your fill is on none, stroke is black. You can change it up here. So I'll change the size of my stroke for the fish. I change it to 2, and I'm going to Draw my little circle here for the eye. Close it out, and you see it fills in more of the space. Okay, so if you want to do that, to fill it in a little bit more, you definitely can. So just an FYI, you don't have to stick with a stroke of 1. Naturally, 2 looks a lot better. So where do I want to start? Guess we'll start here. For this one, I'm just strictly using my Alt key, or the Option key for Mac, sorry. And holding it down, getting my lines where I want them to. Actually, that line separated. Let me get it closer. There we go. Sorry. So for me, for the harder sections, or the harder drawings, which will be like the man, the fish, and the curved lines, I recommend you use your Option key to draw them. And I'm going to close it out here. So this is how it looks at a stroke of 2. So if you want to use the stroke at 2 points instead of 1, it sort of makes the drawing look a little bit better and thicker. So that's an option for you as well. I'm going to complete this last line here. This last line, I do recommend that you rely heavily on the Option key, like holding it, pressing that button down on your keyboard while you draw this line. Because if you're using the pencil tool, the pencil tool is really not like a tool that is good for curves, but you can make it work by holding down the Option key and just breaking it down into little small sections of straight lines, okay? And again, hold on, I think I went too far. There we go. So all I'm doing is tracing, holding down the Option key here. I think go back 1. And as the curve gets, deeper, I make shorter straight lines. So it's better. And go here. Same thing here. And sometimes with this one, I sort of alternate when I do my tracing, back and forth from starting at the bottom. It's starting at the top of the curve, the bottom of the curve. And you can do that and just see which one works best. And whichever one works best for you, I recommend that you do it for your third tracing, okay? Sometimes for me, it works better from the bottom to the top. So now I'm done. And I've completed my first row of tracing. So again, I'm not going to go through all 3 of these, but what I did for the first line, you have to repeat for the second and third. So do not turn in an assignment that only has the first line done because you just see it like this on the live. I'm just trying to make sure that I go through everything here for the live for you. So make sure to complete all 3. I want to start on the pen tool here and just show you how to do that, because with the pen tool, you have directions for each one. So for this one, I'm going to probably do the first 3 if we have time. And then on the next live, which will be at 5:30 tonight, I'll finish this up and then the butterfly. So first thing first, make sure you load your pen tool. You can change your stroke to whatever size. Make sure your fill is at none. Your stroke is black. You can change it to 1 point or 2 points. I'll leave it at 1 point here. So it tells you exactly what to do. And the first one talks about straight lines, okay? So with your pen tool, you're going to click here. Go to point 2, click here. Go to point 3, click in the circle. Go to point 4, number 4, click in that circle. Go into number 5, click in that circle. Go into number 6, click into that circle. 7, click here. 8, click here. 9, click here. 10, click here, and you have to go back into 1 to complete it. Okay? Remember, it's going to, if you don't close it all the way, it's going to try to keep going. So just press the escape key. And if I go to my selection tool, click off of it, you see I have the star. But I'll probably go back and do, just so I don't have that. See if I can go here. And you see where the circle is in that pen tool? If you click there, then it completes the shape, so you don't have to worry about doing that. And that's what you really want to check for. Let's do the circle. The circle is the same concept, but it's more curved lines. So you have to follow these instructions very carefully. Where it says click and press here, it means to hold your mouse button down. Then you're going to hold down the shift key and drag to release here. So the first step, step 1, tells you to click and press here. So click and press in the circle in step 1. Okay. I'm going to hold down my shift key and I'm going to drag it and release it at step 2. And then you see I have this curve. Click and press here. Hold down my shift key and drag it and release it in step 4. I'm going to click and press in number 5. I have my mouse key still pressed down, pressing down the shift key. And what you're doing, you're learning how to drag your handles so you can create curves. Click and press here, holding down my mouse key, holding down the shift key and the mouse key at the same time, drag and release it in 8. Even though it doesn't say it, you do the same thing for step. So to close it, click and press here, hold down the shift key, you're going to drag it back to point 2, and you should have a full circle, okay? The last one I'm going to do before I end the live, I'm going to do multiple curves. With multiple curves, it's going to be the same thing, but you're not closing the circle like we did here. It's a lot of clicking and holding down your mouse key. And what the shift key does, it creates that anchor point and stretches out the curve for you by stretching out those handles that are with that anchor point. So let's start at number 1. Number 1 tells you to click and press here. I'm holding down my mouse key. I haven't let it go. I'm going to hold down my shift key, and I'm going to drag and release it at point 2. Point 3, and you see I have the curve here. Tells me to click and press here. I'm holding down my mouse key. I haven't let it go. Pressing the shift key, and I'm dragging it here. And at 4, I let go of my mouse key when I'm sure that I have this arch. So I'm going to go to step 5 and press my mouse key here. Hold down my mouse key, hold down my shift key, and drag this handle to point 6. I'm going to go to point 7, click and press here. I'm not letting go of my mouse key, but I'm going to hold down the shift key and the mouse key at the same time and drag and release here. And because it's not a shape that you have to close, make sure on this one, which is your third one for multiple curves, you press the escape key so it doesn't keep drawing, okay? So I'm going to end the live here. Again, I break up the live sessions, they're an hour each. So at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm going to complete the rest of these for you, which is the curves with corners, curves with corner points, combining curves with straight lines, and curves with corner points and tweaking the handle. We'll also discuss a very easy and quick way for you to draw your butterfly in the second live. Before I end the first part of week 2's live session, are there any questions, comments, and concerns? All right. If not, we're going to go ahead and end the live session for today. If you have any questions, reach out to me. And I hope to see more of you tonight at 5:30 p.m. where we'll continue the walkthrough of week two's assignment. Have a great day.